Give it a minute. Good evening.
Can we
Good
just
evening. No, we just gonna stop saying that. They're coming in. Never
They ain't
fails.
in yet.
Never fails. Never fails. Welcome. While we're
Let's see how all is.
waiting for people to come in,
Thank you. Let's just
I'm
wait
going
a
to
little
go
bit.
ahead and put my disclaimer out there.
Do the disclaimer.
Well,
You
first I
guys-
get connection.
I just told you to do the disclaimer.
Hi, good evening,
Hey!
everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started by
yeah.
putting my disclaimer out there that I always do, and that's basically stating that we like to pretty much appreciate each and every one who joins
I'm trying
us
not to be sexy.
every week on our podcast with Sisters in the Sandbox. We truly appreciate you guys. Always keep in mind that you also can join us not only through Facebook, but through via YouTube on Sisters in the Sandbox as well. You just click on the link, hit subscribe, and also share.
Subscribe, people.
Yes. And then not outside from the stating all of that, we basically like to put out there in the atmosphere that we welcome all feedback, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, for whatever that it is that you experience. We welcome it because we are basically coming from our perspective of what we and our views of what we experience in our life, according to whatever the topic is that we're talking about. So on tonight, it was actually Otis's turn for the topic. And the topic sis pick was what was it? Would you consider going back to your ex? I don't understand why she picked this topic, but it's her topic. So we're gonna take some time out tonight. One moment. We're gonna take some time out tonight.
How are you gonna just
to elaborate and expound and get your views and opinions on the matter. So by all means, let's get it scooping up in the sandbox, and whatever questions that you may have, whatever you feel that you would do, and whatever the scenario or whatever is laid out, just we welcome it. We definitely want you to chime in. Let us know. So now we're going to turn it over to the person who had the topic. Sis?
Oh, I can talk?
You can talk now.
Okay. Hi, everyone in the virtual world, everybody out there. Hey, I just was, thinking about this because it wasn't just because of who I work with, but, No.
That's your way of talking?
No, it wasn't just like that. But I'm just
okay.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He does. I'm an honest person. I try to keep open communication. But my thing, yes, I try because I'm a little person. But my thing is, would you want to go back to your ex? I mean, they're an ex for a reason.
Exactly.
They're an ex for a reason. But my thing is, you don't have to be.
You got to turn your phone on.
I can't do it either.
Oh, well.
You don't have to be. How can I put it? Mean or
you
talk
can be cordial,
ugly,
or nasty about them. Like,
nasty.
But you have. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
You don't have to be mean, vindictive, spiteful, and stuff like that. You can get along with that person. I feel. He said, "Come out with it." Okay. Disclaimer. I think we said this last week. No sidebars.
He already knows, so he's asking you to come out with it. What are you saying?
Come out with it. Okay. You talking to me or you talking to her? Long story short, I just want to know, like, would you even go back and have sex with that person? Like, would you just go and be in a relationship with they're an ex for a reason. So I want to know, what would you do? Like, now see, like I'm going to make an example.
Please do.
Like, I have 2 baby dads. One of the baby dad I wound up marrying. Now, mind you, I married him. We had a child together when we were like early 90s. And what I'm saying is that we didn't date. We just, it was really a high school sweetheart thing. He was the crush. He was my crush, or whatever have you. But we didn't get that opportunity to go out on a date. We didn't get that opportunity to enjoy each other like we are doing now. So therefore, does that make me go back to my ex? I don't think so. It's just that he was the baby dad. Now the other baby dad
It's still an ex.
is still an ex.
Yes.
But I mean, we didn't. So that's why I'm trying to get clarity. Hey, how are you?
Hey guys, everyone.
That's why I'm trying to get clarification. Like so you saying I went back to the ex?
Yes, that's what you did. Because you already had a relationship, regardless of what the
Even
dynamics
though
it was.
It was basically more just less than sex. It wasn't. We
Did y'all talk?
Yeah.
On the phone? Traded each other secrets and stuff? You couldn't go out and stuff because you were still young. And then not only that, you were intimate.
It was like
it's an ex. Somebody who's new is new. You haven't engaged. I'm trying to break it down for you. Okay? I'm trying to help you out. It's still an ex. But I mean, it's different dynamics. This is what I was saying.
Go ahead and say it.
Oh my God, Jesus, keep me near the cross. Basically, what I'm saying in regards to because I don't know why she chose this type of all.
Ava's got them bangs popping today.
Oh
yeah, I told her she looked like a China doll. So
my thing is, there's different dynamics and situations that sometimes causes people to revisit entertaining their exes. Either they didn't have closure. They felt like it never got off the ground.
And that was basically what it was.
That's basically that's what I'm trying to say here.
I'm just saying.
Timing was off. My main thing is, and then sometimes it's you was disrespected. You. I mean, the thing is, when it comes to dealing with like, if you was disrespected, abused, emotionally abused, verbally, why would you revisit? But I'm saying these are all the different dynamics of exes.
You revisited.
Okay, but I knew what my reasonings were for because there was no complete closure. But once I got the closure, my thing is, and I'm not in the business of slandering anybody.
Well, I didn't say
other people will sit there and slander you.
I'm not saying
this is what I'm saying. The favorite infamous saying is, everybody's in your life or come to your life for a reason and a season and for a moment in time, whatever the cliche is. But the thing is to learn and grow from it. And my thing is, before someone should even entertain an ex, you should ask yourself, what was the reason you left in the first place? And if you left and you really didn't have that closure, whatever, you got to take a chance and assess that situation. And if you haven't really closed or healed the wounds that you had in that relationship, you got to be able to have forgiveness so that you can walk away and be cordial. So you're not holding any animosity. So you're not being bitter. Not everybody can do that. Some people do it because they got humiliated, because they see it as a failure, or they feel like they have to resolve something. And some people just like, oh, maybe it was just going through something. But sometimes you're not in a position to go back and revisit that type of stuff. Like, you need to learn a lesson. And if you find yourself back in that situation, sometimes, honestly, there's a lesson you're not learning, and you're going to keep going through it until you learn the lesson that's needed to be learned.
Situation,
so that's what I'm saying. You got to find out where you are. And my thing is, you shouldn't even be looking to revisit an ex. Like, there's certain everything has certain situations and dynamics. Like with y'all's, it never got off the ground for y'all. It got off the ground when it was sexual, but they never really got to know each one truly intimately. Or to know their habits or whatever, because they weren't.
Did do intimate. You saying intimately?
I'm talking
as far
as knowing them, their likes, dislikes, knowing all that type of stuff.
Yeah, he really didn't know me.
Like
they
didn't
knows
know
me now.
So then that's going to pique an interest. Like, what was she like? Like, now is the opportunity. Then not only that, is there any growth? Like who would want to go back if that person's not even exemplifying any type of growth, or yourself included, like myself included? Or the other person, vice versa, because it goes both ways. If there's no growth and you going back to the same old stuff and experience the same old stuff, you don't need to be there.
Exactly.
It's a dead situation. It's time to move forward. Moving forward. If it's not going anywhere, it's not going in the same direction you're looking to go in. Bless you. If it's not adhering to, and it's not about being, it's a good selfish, because at the same time, it's not even so selfish that you so self-absorbed.
You got these clothes.
I'm sorry that you so self-absorbed, but you should at least be on the same page. And if that X is not on the same, why would you even revisit? Like I said, there's certain dynamics. Like if you didn't have the complete closure, but once you get that closure, your self-worth is let the past stay in the past.
So let me ask this, because you're saying you have to have complete closure.
Now, you're always not going to get complete closure, but a closure for yourself that will suffice. Because you're not always going to get a sorry and all that type of stuff. But whatever brings you closure to the situation that you feel comfortable to say, okay, I did all I needed to do.
So one more time around the rodeo.
I'm not rodeo nowhere. No. All my exes is exes for a reason.
No, I'm saying I learned
my
it was a rodeo.
You can't just say that. I'm just saying you talking, but you went back to the ex too.
But that's what I'm saying. I already said the reason.
Time. Yours was
a one. Mine was more or less for closure because I wasn't sure. My feelings was like still over because it was fresh, and I was just learning that person. So, yeah.
What is that?
And they weren't on the same page. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about VP.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about other people.
But, see, you did it not once, but twice.
Now with him, now I'm gonna say with this because I have no animosity towards him. Like I learned, he taught me a lot of life lessons. Like that was a lot of years, and it took me to go through what I went through. I'm appreciative. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna bash the man. I mean, I grew, I learned, I growed, I outgrowed, and moving forward. So, I mean, I don't have no animosity towards him. I have forgiveness. Yeah, it took a while to get there.
Forgiveness,
but you can't say. You may want talking, but you did it not once, like I said, but you did it twice. Now, I did it, but like what you're saying, I did it because I did it with my baby daddy because of the fact, it didn't pick up. We just had a child together. Like, we had feelings, yes. It is. Okay. We had feelings, yes. If it wasn't no feelings, I mean, it would have been really mild.
You coming through, CLJ?
Somebody in the sandbox and she just don't know how to act.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
don't smile too much.
Oh my God, she need to put her teeth in.
I don't need to put my tell people who I am.
I cannot.
Excuse us for one moment.
It ain't the teeth that makes the problem.
Oh my God!
What you do with the teeth?
That way. You going to hit?
Tell me. I don't want to interrupt y'all.
You hitting back that way, man. Thank you.
I'm trying to let my mom's through.
Baby, let me give you some money.
I'm trying to tell you.
Ow. Okay. All right. Back to the subject at hand.
Sorry for the interruption. The mothers.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, anyway, as I was stating, I feel like this. You can't say anything because, like, with my situation, like you said, it did not pick up. I mean, it didn't get off. And he wanted to know, like, where could it go? Because he also wanted to know if it was infatuation, because he's the baby mom. I mean, that's my baby mom, and we had a baby together. Because some baby daddies and moms feel that, and we done talked about this before, feel that they're entitled just because.
Oh God, yeah.
that they're baby moms and baby dads, and you're not entitled if it's one half. Was it an equivalent?
Because I feel like that's some type of like
it's only one-sided love, like
unrequited.
Yeah,
unrequited love.
Oh, okay.
In regards to that, I feel that sometimes some women and men do that. Like, I feel like just because you had a child with them, that means you're entitled,
and you're not
some type of relationship with them, or you're entitled to their heart. Like you had possession of keeping it, like with anything, and it shouldn't be about that. If you sever ties, you have to come to the realization that relationship is no longer, and you only got to do what is necessary for your children. Like sometimes some people stay in relationship because of the kids and sacrificing their own happiness. Some stay in relationships because out of convenience monetarily. When you really should looking at your worth, you should be in a relationship that's going to have reciprocation. Like you both have an equal give and take, and it's not unrequited where one person is doing all the giving and the other person is doing all the taking. There should be a balance in everything that we do in life. There's a duality in everything. I've stated this before. In everything that we do in life. Podcast. You do not understand what a good day is if you haven't experienced. How can I say I had a good day if I never had a bad day? Yeah. So the thing is, that's what I mean about duality. But I mean, we have to come to the realization. Like I don't harbor stuff like that, and it's like I do. Some people might see it as being naive or gullible, or me giving people benefit of the doubt. We ain't gonna go there, but I'm like, I can't hold like any hatred towards a person. Like we all been in that case, like dealing with exes. I mean, that has children. Like you, some people they in a place of hurt or anger or resentment or bitterness because of how they were treated, and thinking that relationship was going to grow and go somewhere. And then you using the dynamics of the kids to try to say, oh, I have hold over you, or they really are hurt from where they thought it would make. And because you had children, oh, that gives me rights to say, oh yeah, we were supposed to be together, and then feel like you disrupting the home and making it seem like, no, like you the one being, what does they call it? The home wrecker or whatever and stuff like that. But it might just be that relationship couldn't work because it was either toxic, unhealthy, which that's basically what toxic is, or, well, like I said, one person was giving more than the other, and it could have been at times. But if there's no balance, there's no reciprocation, you're going to run into problems. But that does not give us a reason to think that we should keep going back to the exes. I'm like you have to ask yourself, what was the lesson that it was needed for me to learn?
Exactly.
I agree.
Because how dare they say, I mean, for X is a prefix.
Wait a minute, Eric. The topic of this session, you're speaking from the basic of reality.
It's real talk. Why not speak about what makes relationship work? A house can never be a home unless it's on a structural foundation. Hold on one moment. Structural foundation. If it's not about an everlasting dwelling, don't waste the time. Keep it exactly. Don't waste the time. Keep it moving. And basically, it's just a topic, Mr. Eric. We're just basically elaborating on it. And the thing is, because now we're in a new way where a lot of people is actually looking into self-love and wanting healthier relationships. Everybody's getting to a point where we no longer want these unhealthy relationships. And I'm not saying that relationships doesn't experience ups and downs or good or bad.
We're older.
But yes, time is short. It's no time to be wasting games on what you want, what you don't want. If you don't know what you want, I cannot hold a person to my way of thinking. If they're not on that same page with me, then guess what? It's not meant for me to move forward with that person. So I can't get mad with them and how they feel. Move towards something that's going to be more or less on the foundation and on the same principles in which you're looking at and what you're striving, your goals and ambitions is. It's just simple as that. And the only way, that's what I'm saying, when it comes to the exes per se, if they're not growing or you shouldn't be revisiting it. If they're not in that same space, I don't think.
But I feel so. Do you feel that is a mistake if you go back to your ex? I mean, y'all saying all this. You saying
I'm not
that
saying a mistake. I'm not here to judge.
Let me say this. I just want to give my reason why I would say no. I would not go back to an ex. Okay, and here's the reason. Here's the reason why. Okay, so X is prefix for me for an example. Okay, so example, they are an example of who not to attach myself to. They are an example of who I do not want to no longer affiliate myself with or interact with. They are, or actually they exhibit character traits that I no longer want to. What are you doing?
Trying to refresh the screen, but go ahead.
No, it'll do it itself. You just like that.
Go.
Hey, Tina.
Hey, Ting.
Okay. You totally
X. You was going through your examples.
Okay. So EX is the prefix, like I said, for example.
Yes.
Yes. of who I do not want to attach myself to or with. Okay, so we have what we call like a recall memory. Okay, that's basically in our brain. That's in the hippocampus in the temporal lobe. Okay, I know you might not understand it, but either way, it's a recall memory. In the memory,
No,
we
she
have
come
the
in with big
good.
words.
We have
It's-
good, and we have good and bad memories of that example, right? So, just like a dead situation,
Tina, you're crazy, girl.
what she said?
Example of what not to do again.
Exactly.
Basically, that's what it is.
Exactly.
You don't know what
But
to
you're-
accept and allow.
It's like you're returning back to a dead situation. Now, figuratively, we can say that okay, that this is a dead situation. But could you imagine literally dragging around a dead corpse everywhere you go?
No, because
No. But just listen. You're dragging around this dead corpse everywhere you go, right? And this is in all the activities and exercises and anything that you're doing throughout the day, right? This dead corpse that smells, that's decayed,
I was gonna
that's
say
heavy.
it smells.
Exactly.
Why would I carry that around?
But we do that figuratively. We do that mentally and emotionally every day. That's exactly what we're doing.
I agree, Tina. I would say that
But
the best.
best sex spectacular. Lost a little bit.
No, she basically saying that the exes make for great sex. Basically,
I don't know.
Well, then we in the wrong
No.
department. You equate everything. That's because
I'm
our
trying to
body
finish my
is
thought.
comfortable. But go ahead.
That's what we're doing literally and emotionally. We're dragging around the thought of this person. That's a bad memory that we have, right? And a good memory might come. And here we are trying to resuscitate this this situation. We're trying to give it CPR, we're trying to give it life. Resuscitate it, CPR. That's a good thought. And then you're trying to give all your life into this situation that you're out of breath, you're exhausted.
Okay.
oh, not my words, Biggie Smalls. Oh,
Okay. You're exhausted just from trying to give life into this dead situation. So with that, you got to say, okay, well, since this person is this whole situation is dead, I can't do anything with it. They had already left. It's gone. There's nothing. You can't resurrect anything. You know what I mean? Let God do that. But you tried your best. You have a good thought and a bad thought. You have more bad thoughts than you'll have a good thought in a dead situation. So even if you're trying to return, you like, oh well, I remember, and you have like a happy thought, right? And then you'll have those bad thoughts. You'll have more bad thoughts than you'll have good thoughts about that dead
well, I
situation.
kind of did today. Like I was talking about the ex, and all I kept saying is of the ex where we try to hurt one another, like what he did. But then I came out and said that he was good as a family man, as a like he was more of a family man. But all I kept looking at is like what we had to do, like what we were basically hurting one another. I just remember the thought that what I had to go through or what I had to endure. And am I mad to see him in a happy place? No, I'm really not. I'm glad that he's in a better place because,
Right.
like Tyler Perry said, and we done said it. The times and the seasons, and he wasn't in my season. My season was up with him.
And that's what I mean about learning the lessons that's needed to be learned.
My season was,
and
it was pretty
some people
much
do.
up.
They come to teach us until we get whatever it is that we need to learn in that time with that person.
I don't want to revisit even the other baby
you'll
daddy.
keep going through the same cycle until you actually complete the cycle. Until you come to the realization to stand in your own power, know what your self-worth is, put the healthy boundaries and lines. And if that, like I said, if that person's not growing and they're not in the same place, it's not because not all S's is always something negative. Some are just people who just not in the same position or going in the same way that you're going. It's just not vibing. It's just they don't click. The connection
doesn't
is
mean
not
that
there.
they're bad people.
It doesn't mean
don't belong together.
because My
all that
thing
means.
is, like I've always stated, in a relationship, you should be building, like Mr. Earth was just stating, a solid foundation where you can communicate. There's honesty, loyalty. You carrying yourself in integrity, and yeah, there are things that come. I'm not trying to say that you're gonna have this perfect relationship. Let's not get it twisted, because you have your ups and downs. There's challenges, but the thing is, it should be challenges where you're challenging one another, not where I'm challenged to be whether I'm not gotta find out what I'm gonna be in jail or not because I gotta slash somebody's tires or put myself in compromising positions where I gotta feel like I'm in competition with somebody else, or I gotta wonder whether or not that person loves me or not. You have the signs. The signs are there. The red flags are there. I mean, there's people who use manipulation. They can be troll. You can still be a nice guy and still be manipulative. You can still be controlling and to gear and take relationships in the way that you want them to go. It should be healthy communication. You should be able to say and express what you have to express without walking on eggshells. There shouldn't be no tick for tack. There shouldn't be no game plan. There should. That's what I would call, far as me, and what I'm saying in relation to me, what I would call healthy, because I've already experienced that, so I know what I'm not going to allow and not allow. So my thing is, I learned what I needed to learn with each person because each person taught me about myself and things like. I will never slander any of the exes that I've been with. I'm not that type of person. Now, would I get upset? Yeah, and wanted to curse them out of them? Fine. But I would never slander and go around talking behind the back to people. That just ain't in me. I don't have that time. I don't have time to chase down stories, believe what you want to believe, think what you want to think. It is what it is.
Okay.
Well, all I have to say is that's why I brought the topic up, is because, like with my husband and I, like I said, it didn't really get started. We just had our daughter, and it really wasn't,
Go ahead.
and it really wasn't,
You are good.
so it really wasn't, it wasn't, how can I put it? It wasn't really a relationship. We really didn't have a relationship. We just had what you call fidelity, transparency.
Penetrates love. Love is what makes it last. Exactly. Love does. I mean, love conquers all, and it covers a multitude of sin. But it definitely don't require or say you're supposed to endure repeated or repetitive behavior that is unhealthy.
But I'm saying at the time, I didn't know, even if, okay, what I'm saying, even if
Go ahead.
even if I did go back, how would I supposed to know that he's the way he is now? I had to learn how
That's
he
what I'm
is.
saying. You went back and revisited because it never got off the ground, which is understandable. But now that you even experienced it, the thing is, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean, is there any? Do you feel there's any regrets, or it was just you feel like y'all growed, or y'all was learning each other, or was a fine opportunity? Do you feel like y'all still are in the same?
Okay, truthfully, at the time, truthfully,
what caused you to revisit it, the whole situation?
Both of us was in a real bad place.
So y'all both were broken. Nobody was healed. Let's keep that up.
We were both in a
so
bad
y'all was looking
place.
for comfort for each other.
Yeah, you got third part.
I'm just saying.
I'm just being truthful. I'm being truthful.
Jesus.
We both was in a bad spot, but as a co-parent, we always co-parent. And I know that, my husband now still, I don't know if it was lust or infatuation. Like I want her to understand that, how can I put it? Like, as far as sexual, which she missed out on or whatever. And we got back together in our later years. In our early years, maybe it wasn't the time for me to get with him at that time because of what I had to go through. And I'm still going through stuff. But I'm saying at that time, now, because I believe we would not be together.
If what?
If
If you had that opportunity
Yeah,
to
we
actually,
wouldn't. Yeah,
you
we
don't think
would.
you would have been together.
But you gotta understand too that those are two different times and two different periods and points of your life.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It was two different points and periods in my
you were
life.
younger then, and when you came back together, you were
Older, right? Much
And
older.
had other children.
Yeah, and I had other
Time
children.
had passed, and so what you might have liked then would not.
But
Probably
then
be
and I'm not gonna
like
lie.
now.
My other thing was John Paul. The Bible said, "Touch every doctrine."
People are their own doctrine. Test them to learn them before loving them.
I
Thanks
like
for the
that.
nugget.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That was deep. Real deep. I don't know what to say after that. But it's just the whole thing is
Okay.
I really don't. I did.
Lost in the storm.
I did because like he's telling the truth though. Test them. But see at the
A lot of times
time
we did not.
I wasn't thinking of it. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Another thing. Be truthful. I really didn't really want that relationship at that time. I just wanted comfort.
Like I say at that time, because it was around like 16. It was something to do.
Sex.
Let's put it out there. It was just
You
something
ain't got
to do.
whisper.
Like those types were interactions. You 16, 17, you just finding out about your body. You don't even know who you are as a person.
No,
yet.
but
You're
I'm
just
saying
finding out
for
about
me,
yourself.
exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. I'm not in that. But like now, it was a sex thing. I was like, okay, we could just do the sex thing. But he was like, no, I don't want to just do the sex thing. I want to be with you. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not. I don't know. And I'm like this because what I've seen you went through and go through and what you took her through, I don't want to go through that. You understand what I'm saying? Because, it was a lot of things he also did that I would not allow. And am I allowing it now as far as certain things that, like, as far as other women and stuff like that? No. But I am not. No, I'm not. Like,
okay, so let me just say this because I know we had already touched on this subject. Because we got to say some things. If you do not like, you got to nip it in the bud. Doesn't mean that you have to be nasty or anything about it. But just like he would have a totally conundrum if he would find out that you are driving men home every day, as if when he was.
Yeah, he
you know
did.
What I'm saying?
It's the flesh that generates the temptation of revisiting an old relationship. If love never sparks, it's flesh, and you will never connect spiritually.
Exactly. And then let's also keep in mind, some people use the exes as an outlet, and we both know, men and women, just to see if you have the opportunity. They just do or reach out just to see if they have the opportunity to say, oh, I still can get with her. Oh, let me have this little window. Let's be friends. Or they think, oh, they still friends with me and stuff. I might have an opportunity to still.
And basically, that's what it was for me.
So what was it for you?
When you gotta tell me either what time, because like from the ex-husband, there was no relationship of another person. It was just he became my ex. I divorced. I went into a fresh relationship,
right?
A new relationship,
right?
So
and then you kind of revisit it.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Nobody, y'all gonna keep jumping on me.
I'm not jumping on you. I'm just saying because you. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you leave that window, and because you pretty much like in the friend zone, then it's like, okay, you cut that person off because okay, I think I'm outgrow them. I think, but then you still have unresolved wounds and feelings, and
see that's how I was
outgrowing somebody.
You can't.
When I mean such thing is outgrowing somebody.
You can outgrow because I outgrew you.
No, the thing.
So what do you mean?
It's not outgrowing.
I grew.
You grew. So I mean that you outgrow somebody.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
To me, it is. Because that's the whole thing. That means I grew from where the point in time that you knew me as. that means I even outgrown from the state that I once was in. So everybody has a level in which, again, that you elevate to. It's the same thing I'm saying, that you wind up, like, I found my power, I found my truth, and I knew that it was time for me to walk away because I no longer wanted to endure what I was enduring.
So Annie evolved. Annie rebuilt
exactly.
herself.
Exactly. And Annie changed. There was transformation that had took place.
Exactly.
So therefore, exactly.
Okay.
Transformation just means that all that is the same. Look, you want to Google it? Yeah, I grew.
Okay.
Go ahead. But yeah, because I made me tinkle.
Yes.
Yes, because I got a tinkle.
That
but
way.
Yes, I already know which way to go. But yeah, like when it comes in regards to the exes, yes, you have to sit there and take an assessment, because the thing is, sometimes people keep that windows of opportunity open just to try to see, okay, if they can capitalize or try to revisit that situation.
Well, honestly, the window was open on both sides.
Yeah, at that point in time, I mean, I'm not gonna lie about it, but then at some point in time, you have to realize, okay, that had to be.
So what really made you revisit it?
That's the thing.
Because like I resolve issues, unresolved feelings.
Just because something. Listen to this.
Because of however way you might have.
I want to talk.
Well, let her talk. Go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna talk when you get back.
I don't care if you talk.
Either way, what I'm going to say is, because this didn't work, this relation didn't work, and you go into a new relationship. Speaking on my sister, and she goes into a.
What's the basic topic question again, ladies? Would you go back to your ex? And she got the floor.
Okay. Just because I'm actually speaking on the situation with my sister who just left to go to use the bathroom, who excused herself. She was saying that she had left one relationship or a marriage, and then she had went basically straight into a new relationship, and that, I think she kind of gave a rest or something. She was basically trying to find herself and heal from the marriage. But then she had revisited the marriage, but still was kind of back and forth with the, the other guy too. So the thing is, and I'm asking when she get here. So when it's talking about closure, like what exactly made you revisit? Because you was revisited at the same time. So I'm asking when she get. But me and myself, no, I would not. If it's an ex, they're an ex for a reason for me.
Okay, honestly. Well, in my situation, like I said, I did it because we didn't touch.
That's why she's touchy. It's touching nerve.
Who, me? Hers.
Touching nerve for what?
That's because.
What we talking about now?
You.
About me.
But that's the only reason.
Let her finish her thought.
My only reason is because I didn't. Now the other baby dad, will I revisit that? Hell no. And I'm gonna say it just like that. Hell to the no. He don't do that butterfly for me. It's not that gushy wooshy feeling. You know what I'm saying? But like at the time, me and husband, like he's the husband now. It was that feeling, and I wanted to be there because we knew how to co-parent, and we were friends. And see, this is the thing that really sold me with the husband, because we could be friends. We could really talk to one another about what was going on in each other's situation. And see, that's where a lot of problems begin with us females and males, because then we're talking about our relationship to another male or another partner, and then it turns into something totally different that is blossoming, and you're like that listening ear, that shoulder to cry on and stuff like that. And then they be like, and we've done talked about this before, well, I know how to get her, I know how I'm gonna do all the things that he didn't do and stuff like that. So I'm like, but you can't outgrow a person, though.
Especially when you're alone.
But you can outgrow a person, though, especially when you are longer in
the place you were.
I agree.
But what was y'all saying now as a trigger?
That's Avis.
What are we saying now about in regards to me, though?
Yes, because I was saying, and I was asking the question, what exactly was you looking for when, as if you revisit the marriage bed, and at the same time trying to figure out that
Be-
other relationship.
Because, and that's where I was caught. To elaborate and expound on that, I was stuck between feelings of what I felt for the ex-husband versus the new relationship. But in the midst of the going and feeling stuck between two people, I come to realization that I still had unresolved issues within self that I had to deal with internally. And so I had needed time. So that's why I walked away from both, actually, because I did that on impulse too quickly, because in my mind I was listening to what people said because it was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
People were stating that, do it for the kids. Why would you do that now? So because of what society says. And that's another thing. Like, we feel like a lot of things is based on what society dictates to us, but you yourself, what it is that you endure and what feelings and how things make you feel. So I had needed time down to actually come to realization from both. Like, it was like I had to leave both. And then feeling vulnerable at the one point where one just had the had closed me off at one point, not understanding it, versus the other one at that point in time, they had, left that window there, but they also was upset. But then it was like the window of friendship was still there. It wasn't like I was cut off. But at that same time, I cut both of them off because I had to deal with self. I had to heal. I went through my whole hermit mode. I hadn't talked to nobody. I wanted to know the answer to that also. To what? So I had to deal with my own self, self things that I inflicted, self things that I dealt with within the marriage and within a new relationship, because it was like it was all new to me. Because I still had to learn myself, because I had did a lot at that point in time. Once your kids, like for me, it was once the kids got older, it was like we did a lot of things for the kids. But I'm saying they were already, that's what I'm saying, it was already to points where there was adult. I think our relationship kind of pretty much got dissolved because it was no longer me having to worry about the kids, because they were all pretty much about straight in their own path. They were starting to learn their way. So like they say, sometimes I felt like, me, him, I felt like with the ex, I felt like we were brought together to bring up 4 beautiful kids, to be good, healthy, bubbly kids, and everybody has a bit of dysfunction in their family.
Yes.
So let's get that. I mean, it's no perfect. There's no perfect
clear.
handbook. There's no perfect handbook for family and children and relationships. It's basically off experience, with the masses actually endure, what they go through, and what they experience, and the different views and perspectives on it. But the thing was, I was in a place where I did have to deal with self. So I had to, just like remove myself to deal with my issues, and to deal with the things that are going, and learn what it is that I wanted and what I didn't want it, and what I was going to do and what I'm not going to do. In the process, I was just having fun, enjoying myself and learning about myself. That's just simple as that.
Okay.
That's what that was. Until you got to the point where you finally find somebody that's actually, deal with self and heal.
At the end of your teeter when it came to the marriage bed, and then when it came to the
it was
new fresh relationship,
exactly.
It was like it was just
all new. It was just too. It was kind of overwhelming. Yes,
it was too soon, because you didn't have the process. You didn't go through the process of healing and addressing those wounds that was already open.
So
that's my experience.
Friendship plays a big part in it. People makes mistakes, which makes the relationship acts. Trust, communication play a big part in rekindling anything. Some of us just can't bring it upon ourselves.
What's that? The rest of it?
To trust again, but we'll do it anyway, and we'll actually. What's the saying?
But that's something you have to definitely
because of kids, family,
exactly,
and really never getting
over the hurt. And that's why I said you have to examine and know who are you doing it for. I came to the realization that I really did, and knew that I had to I no longer. I was evolving.
You were numb.
I was, yes.
You were numb to the whole
process. Like, after you don't work and rebuilding and trying to rebuild the trust and all of that, you get to the point where it's exhausting. It's like she said, revisiting a dead situation. I'm not going to keep carrying the course around. I'm not saying that it was all bad. It wasn't all good, but I know it reached It cycled. It reached this point in life and season in my life.
Reached the end of your
Exactly. I reached the highest level I could go within that relationship.
Yeah.
So outside that being said, I learned from the newer relationship as well. So it also put me in a position where I knew what I wanted and what I don't want it. So I know for without a doubt with the new relationship that I'm in now, they're coming. What I'm looking for and where I'm going or striving towards is we're both on the same page. And just what might not work for one person in that relationship with with that person doesn't necessarily mean it don't work for another person.
Exactly.
Because everybody is different.
People.
It's
the dynamics.
The dynamics is different. You bring in different attitudes, different outlooks on life, different personalities. So another thing is I'm not going to get upset. Mm-hmm. If I see that person going on without me, I can only congratulate.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's no need of getting upset. If you're going to be hurt, let's be real. Yeah, you're going to be hurt. But at the same time, it obviously was meant to be. God foresee other reasons. It's in other words, yes, sometimes people be in regret. Sometimes people don't understand why. You might question it or whatever the case. Should have been, could have been, would have been, but didn't. It's not for us to understand. God has a bigger plan and knows the plan he has set for us. And it's for us to have good. And I mean, his plans for us is not that of evil. So you just never know. It's whatever that time of what you experience and what you have to learn and grow from.
They said it's about what we tolerate.
Exactly. And I know what I ain't tolerating now.
He said having fun, huh?
Well, it don't start. But yes, yes, I was having fun. So at the same time, because I didn't have an opportunity, people got to also keep in mind, because not a lot of people know my story. That's why I said that I posted a picture. If you only knew my story, I came right out of school being domesticated. So I really didn't have the opportunity. I was being Susie Maker the homemaker because I had kids. So I had to grow up and do what was needed to be done of me in the home setting. Did I do everything right? No. I took accountability for my faults. I was still growing, learning, and finding me, and still trying to find me, but yet taking care of kids in a home, and a person, and a husband. Like, come on now, I lost self. So once I found self, found my power, found my truth, I stood in it, then it's like some people's not going to agree with you all the time. But when it comes to
because
these exes, yes, because it does change. The dynamics change, things changes, people changes. So yes, but I wouldn't revisit it. I'm appreciative of what I learned from each, but no. No.
I mean, I wouldn't revisit, but in my, like I said, I already said my situation, but like, no, I wouldn't go back. Like y'all said, because an ex is an ex. But my situation started because we didn't have that relationship. So, and that's, and then, y'all know what worked best for you.
Exactly.
And my thing is, even if they have the best sex, keep it like that, just sex.
Because you have some people that does that. They go back to the sex. But that's because your body is comfortable for it was too. Like somebody can't give you sexually what that person did because they learned your body. So they know. Mm-hmm. But then you think there's nobody else who can do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And but it can be somebody out here and does a whole lot better.
It is.
That's exactly what she went through.
Because it was like my body,
so like, they knew you didn't have to teach.
They knew what my body knew how to activate that that sensitivity part of my body, and it was just like, oh God. And it's not like I had really ever left. But at the same time,
it was a whole year.
It was like
whole year.
I wanted to go on to a different relationship and mess up a whole potential good relationship because of just the chemistry.
Exactly. Chemistry. Yes, chemistry wise.
So we're learning from experience.
Yes.
We're saying don't go back, but actually, in all reality, we did go back. Yeah. All three of us went back.
I didn't say it said the topic was would you consider going back? Once you learn what is needed to learn, I feel that it is, if you know for yourself without a doubt, and nobody's growing, there's different contributing factors that some people can revisit. Because you have some people come back together after they done separated years apart.
Yes,
and they come back together
and get married.
Exactly. So we're not even gonna go there. But the thing is, that's what I was just speaking upon. If there's no growth, or it depends on where you at that time, I don't know.
Mm.
But the situation for
Ah.
myself, I think I've learned what I need to learn
Yeah.
in order to even deal with the person I'm with right now. So it
Mm.
helped. It helped me to really find my voice and know to have a voice and to be able to freely communicate. And we are what we attract at that time. If you're in a hurt place, you're going to attract people that's broken and hurt too. If you still finding yourself and you just doing things just to get by and just because you don't want to be alone and all that, you got to look at certain things like that. Because some people just be in relationships because they scared to be alone.
That is true. That is true.
Yes,
But
I'm
that's
like,
what you call
some people-
situationships. Doesn't mean
yes, you got to find self. Once you find self, once you find your voice and you find yourself, you know what you want and what you don't want. You know what you're gonna put up with. And then other people, like I said, some people you meet at certain times, they're at where you at that moment, and what you're going through at that moment. But once you grow and you love on yourself and you find out more about what your likes and dislikes, like I know what movies I want to know. I know what I want to do if I don't feel like, like shoot. Right now, like I used to sacrifice, like, oh, I'm gonna watch this just to make that person happy. Like I'll do it every now and then to compromise, but if I don't like and I don't feel like watching, I'm not watching it. Like you watch sports. I'm not gonna stop even watching sports. And the same way with me with the chick flick. Like we just have moments where you actually come together and you agree that that's what you're going to do. It's called reciprocation. It's called communication. It's called honesty. It's like sharing your thoughts. When you feel like you got to play games, manipulate, control, it's time to go. I'm just saying. I mean, it had nothing to do with the topic as far as the exes, but I'm sorry. Those are red flags for me. Like,
well, you don't have to worry about those things right now.
yeah, I know.
So
we deal with whatever comes up. You should be able to address that situation in a way where you're not demeaning that person, belittling that person, and make person
them feel like they're
small,
not
they're less than.
appreciated.
Yes,
Or
there's a right way and a wrong way to effectively communicate what it is you're feeling. And sometimes we work and walk and operate in our emotions. Let's be real, but not to the point. Not to the point where, like I said, I ain't going to jail for nobody.
I think every woman has been there.
I ain't doing it.
Not to say that a man cannot, may experience those emotions and feelings as well, but I know we as women definitely feel it more emotionally than men do.
Because we are the emotional weaker vessels, as it's stated in the Bible. But I mean, at the same time, a lot of us is finding self-love and self-independent, being independent, that you don't be so independent like you don't think you don't need nobody. Everybody needs somebody at some point in time.
My perverts told me that a man that fond of a wife findeth a good thing, obtain a favor in the Lord. So if my spirit sees
wifey like qualities, I admit it will take a whole lot to what? A whole lot to you didn't hit it. Hit it again.
Oh, okay.
A whole lot to what? Because I can't see it from here.
I'm sorry.
Go down there by the little emoji.
That it would take a whole lot for me to feel the same again about that ex.
Yes, because then you're going to be more or less throwing it up in the person's face. If you know that because that's how I got to the point where I think it was the point where I think he thought I would never leave in regards to the ex. Because of everything that I endured, it was like enough was enough. And it's not, like I said, I don't want to create him like he was a bad person. Because, like I said, he was there. The love was there at that point in time. But unfortunately, I evolved. He evolved. We move our separate ways. It just is what it is. And like I said, we had our whole reason I felt we were brought together was to rear those 4 beautiful young adults that we have on today. And
let's consider this too. Let's consider this because some people don't believe in divorce in certain cultures, and for them,
I felt that way for a while.
I think we all did. We didn't believe in divorce because our grandmothers
exactly
frowned upon
generation before
definitely, and it was taught that God frowned upon divorce. Period.
Yes.
So you got to think of everything that they had to endure for. You know what I mean? They. Like you say, try to keep peace, so they do whatever, and they lose themselves.
Exactly.
And in order to keep the peace in the household, and I think that we didn't have such things as therapies and everything back in those days. They just had to do what they had to do. But I mean, it's like, okay, we consider this like, do we get married to get divorced? Do we get in these relationships to break up? Like, what exactly? you know what I mean, is the goal here. Like it's so easy now in days just to just go our separate ways and just, you know, go and
But I'm gonna put y'all on to some good people because there is some good YouTube life coaches and stuff out here. We have some in within our own community. But like one I love is Stefan Speaks, and he actually come from both ends, and he's actually speaking from experience, different things. He wrote books. I put that plug in, but at the same time, you know, I love him to death because he elaborates on the different scenarios in regards when it comes to relationship, healthy relationships, whether what the signs are when, you know, if you meet a mama's boy, if you're dealing with an ex, or if it, trust me, check him out. Stefan Speaks Relationship. He is definitely on YouTube, has a lot of following, wrote books, and he's a life coach. He's a godly fearing man, and sometimes I listen to some of those podcasts that he has, and they're very enlightening, they're very inspiring, and they give you good views and perspective, male and female wise, in regards to relationships. So I'm just gonna put it out there. If anybody wanna, you know, I'm putting the plug out there because you know you have different books and different speakers. I love listening to things like of that nature. Definitely throughout my time span in which I was going through and finding self and loving on self, he is someone that I had actually listened to that put me on a track far as even looking and finding out who I was and what I wanted when it came to relationships.
Hmm.
He's very good. He's very, very good. Very, and he's young, so he's not that young. He's about around our age, so a little bit older.
Okay.
But it's called Stefan Speaks. So Stefan Speaks
Well,
Relationship.
I have nothing else to say. Time is winding up.
Yes.
I hope y'all enjoyed. We probably didn't have a lot of viewers, but it's just the whole point that
Consistency with everything. We try to be consistent. Everybody's not going to agree to the thoughts and stuff that we have. There are some people who are exactly walk in your own truth, walk in the gift that God given you. We're not here to try to, basically we're here basically just to encourage, uplift, share our views and perspectives on matter, get feedback, welcome everyone in to say their feedback and things that they have to say. We already did that. And basically
you didn't
be helpers of one another to help get through those times, those rough times, those hard times. Like I said, everybody needs somebody at some point in time. It's knowing who, when, and what to trust with what information. That's what it is for me.
Dana said you can't just always be submissive to a person that you know
what they're about. I've learned to not put unrealistic expectations on people when they enter my intimacy. And that's right. When we elaborated that Dana Dane a long time ago. I've actually elaborated on about expectations. We actually had a podcast where I think I spoke about putting expectations on people and stuff. Because sometimes you can set your own self up for failure because you're putting or placing expectation on what you, unrealistic expectations on other people, because that's how you operate. Everybody has different love languages. Everybody loves differently, but the thing is, walk in love. Be an example. I'm an advocate of love, and it's hybrid. And I wherever I go, I just allow my light to shine. I'm not no perfect person. Don't put me on no pedestal. I make bad decisions, wrong choices. I suffer. I go through, but I choose to eliminate the negative and accentuate the positive. Just because I'm always saying I'm uppity or saying positive things doesn't mean I don't experience a bad day. That's not something I choose to focus my mind on or put my mindset to. So the thing is, we're just here to encourage one another, and we just thank y'all for joining us because we just, we're about that consistency. We're about being there. It's not to say that I haven't done things to hurt people's feelings and people haven't, things to hurt my feelings. But
that's my problem.
You did things that you regret that you wish you didn't do, huh?
She said that's my problem nowadays.
Yeah, so it's like, just love on yourself, and we just need to be helpers of one another, encourage one another. But consider, like there's different dynamics and things that can contribute to whether or not you would revisit an ex. But for me right now, I can truly say that I don't think I would be revisiting any of mine. Be friends with them, but that's about all I can say. Not to the point where I'm talking to them every day or something, but outside of that,
we can be cordial. We can be in the same room.
Like I don't have no animosity towards them. I'm not having holding no hate or, and The only
Exactly.
thing that I actually learned of forgiveness is, like I said, my actual ex-husband. So it's like, yeah, I mean, but I knew that I've evolved and I've changed, and I wish them all the best.
Yeah,
It's,
definitely.
it's no need of me hating or trying to,
But that's just like you
yeah,
said
interfere
before.
with their
Just
happiness,
know
his
that it
happiness.
took a time and a period and a process to get
Get
there.
through there. It does, and it does with
It's
anything.
not going to happen overnight.
Exactly, it does take time, but
Yes.
you also got to be in a place to forgive,
Definitely have to
learn,
forgive.
let go, move forward.
Forgive
Learn.
is the key.
Yes, forgive them
Healing.
because
That okay,
you hold on to that.
forgiveness is the key to start your healing. Again, forgiveness is the key to start your healing. Even if you feel like, oh, I don't want to forgive that person, mainly the forgiveness is for yourself. So you can move on. You can't keep beating yourself over a dead situation.
Exactly.
So, with that, forgiveness is the key, for healing. And and it took a lot. And we all three of us had been there in a different point in time in our lives, you know, um
Each situation,
it's
each
different.
situation was different, different dynamics, different contributing factors, different things that went on. But I'm grateful for the experiences that I've learned. It made me who I am and where I am at today.
So just keep that in your heart. You have to learn to forgive, and that means wholeheartedly. It's just like when God talking about He want a cheerful giver. You can't give it wholehearted. You can't be half-hearted. You got to be wholehearted. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that part, but I'm just saying you want to be. You want to give it your all. You can't just say I forgive you, like just to say it and then like, oh, I didn't forget what you did. No, you probably haven't.
Let it go. You have to.
You got to let it go.
It takes time.
Let it go.
Ain't nobody saying it's easy.
Let it go.
Exactly.
We're
takes
human.
Time.
Yes.
We're
So
human.
let's
So,
be
yes.
real about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You gotta let it
Sometimes
go.
we will throw
But
it
if
up
you
in the
keep
face.
holding and harboring it, you ain't doing nothing but
He
hindering
said,
out and hurting
yes,
yourself.
your experience brings forth. I agree.
Exactly.
And see, that's why I try to talk to my children, my girls, all of the children that I have.
They're watching.
They're looking, and then they can be my encouragement, and which they are. Like, I don't like seeing you like this. I don't want to see you like this. Mom, you're stronger than this. Because I was a single mom for so long, and me to dealing with a man that's been in my life now over a decade. I had to get used to and still trying to get used to it, because even though I had a man in my life, I always been the dominant, where I just was like, okay,
ran things.
Yeah.
Your way.
And I did, because ain't nobody gonna put me out my home, and me or my kids. I'm gonna make sure my kids eat, have their clothes. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that. So now that my children are having their own children and got their own, I'm more laid back. So I'm like, hey, and my children, yes, and my children see that, but I don't want them to be like, oh, you did this and you did that. Blessings.
Yes, blessings to you.
So that's all I have to say about that. But to revisit, no.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end it there. But always remember, forgiveness is the key.
Definitely.
Yes. There's no need of harboring hate. I can't even
let it go. Let it go.
If I'm holding on to such resentment or bitterness and like, I don't have room in my heart to be
let it go
having that type of hate for anybody.
No.
Even my enemies. He said he will make and place a table. Yes, your footstool, and prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. And the thing is, so I'm still gonna love them. I don't like their ways. I still gotta love them. So might not like their ways, but I still gotta love them. But guess what? That don't mean I have to deal with them either. It's just I love you from a distance, and I know what what I can and won't put up with.
Yes, y'all have a blessed
night. So we thank y'all for joining us. Catch you next week, because it will be Sissy's turn for her topic, and we'll throw that out of there, because I think for mine, I might just put something out there on my feedback to see what y'all guys would like to talk about or elaborate on, so we can possibly come up with something for that on the following week after. But next week is Sister's turn. We'll see you next week. We thank you for scooping it up in the box with the Sisters in the Sandbox. Have a blessed night.
Good night, guys.
Love you.